They just shot Charlie Kirk. Someone just shot Charlie Kirk. Oh my God. What? I hope he's, oh my God, please. Someone please tell me he has good aim. Someone please. Oh my God, please. Oh my God. Hey man, I had to say it. I'm sorry. No, I'm not, but I had to say it. I need us to be honest. We have to be honest. We simply must be honest when we talk about this.
ザクサめんどくせえこいつらまとめてぶっ飛ばす
ダメだやめろ何か方法はあるはずだだからこの人たちを傷つけるのは
A person died, y'all. I mean, a human being died. But hey, I guess he was a bad person. He was evil, so why not?
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
TMZ employees you could hear cheering in the background as Trump posted that Charlie Kirk died at exactly 1:40
And these are everywhere.
p.m.
There is no shortage of these clips online currently. Democrats, leftists rejoicing, celebrating over a person's death.
We will join prayer right after this, okay?
This is the face of the man that was the misogynist, a racist, and absolutely deserved to die. Charlie.
Girl, someone had to do it. Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
We're killing misogynists now? We're shooting misogynies? Oh my god.
Ah yes, we're shooting misogynists, totally shooting them, and I'm going to share why this is justified. CBC News published an article on some of Charlie Kirk's most controversial takes, and conveniently so, I don't see mainstream media talking about if he was a good person, if he affected people positively, millions of people at that, if he was a good father. But no, let's focus on his political views and why it's deserving of political violence. This person retorts, crying for a man who arguably is the reason Trump is president and the reason people effing hate trans people and black people and diversity and empathy goes to show what people truly value and that this harm is not actualized in their minds. Training your audience to place his status as a father above the torment he has caused over the past decade shows that my life as well as others is not real harm. This person is a lesbian or a member of the LGBT community and is seemingly trying to attribute the deaths of many people to Charlie Kirk or his actions or people closer to him or his opinions. She ends by saying suddenly his status as a father sits above the cultural shift that demonized and led to the death of many, whether by their hands or others. Lady, it goes both ways. Conservatives have been arguing about trans regrets and how many children die in abortions, suicide rates going up, the height of moral decay, so many issues, and by your own logic, they should maybe be hoping for a bullet not to miss.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
What about humanity? What kind of souls do people have? What kinds of people are we living with, going to school with, getting on the bus with? But make no mistake, he didn't just die. He was assassinated.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude.
Least threatening of them all. He didn't want to run for presidency. He wasn't in government. He was a citizen, and they took him out. He was assassinated.
A 12-year-old, watching your dad fucking die. Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie Kirk.
Well done, Dean and Parker. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to express emotions over a person dying. It doesn't even have to be just about the family. Nobody deserves to go out like that, no matter how differing our opinions or perspectives are. Because the point is not who died, it's how you're reacting to the death of a person. This whole thing is not about Charlie Kirk. It's only about you. And if you think he should not have been platformed or remembered fondly, experience the reality of the word he advocated, the same can be said for any liberal out there from a conservative point of view. Any liberal with a platform is probably supporting gender-affirming care, which a conservative thinks is leading to direct mutilation and like suicide of real people. Any liberal with a platform is probably encouraging and supporting abortions.
Like, in any case, you don't think there's any case where abortion should be legal?
There's a very, very rare couple cases.
Which is abhorrent from a conservative standpoint.
人を食った鬼に情けをかけるな。子供の姿をしていても関係ない。何十年と生きている醜い化け物だ。俺と同じ人間だったんだから。足をどけてください。
So this is a post by Bowie, and I think that the whole point of my making this video is to stress that even if we're dealing with a demon or a monster, we should have a heart of humanity. So there's always room for growth and change in every person. Everybody has had a time in their life where they believed in something else.
The kid Dean, there's a big internet thing about him. They're trying to cancel him because he said the N-word when he was a kid. I actually want to come to his defense. I haven't said this publicly. Again, I thought he was actually a really sweet kid when I met him. But a lot of people trying to cancel Dean. I think it's totally wrong. And like liberals trying to cancel him and conservatives. So I just want to put that in there. I think we have to be very principled about it. And like, you know, he's getting all these people that are trying to disassociate. Very smart kid.
We watched Dean move from homophobic and racist to the person he used to date. With grace, we afforded him the grace. We should be able to afford people grace. We should be able to look at people as opponents and not enemies. Charlie was willing to be open to ideas, to hear from another side and possibly change his mind. And it was getting to that. He was beginning to question Israel finally.
Maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, you know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, So
I believe every human should be given this grace. And it goes both ways, because that is how we have a society.
Yamero! なぜ止める？見ていたが生かしといてもしょうがないクズどもだ。恩を売ったところで変わらない人間もいる。でも変われるかもしれない。もう悪いことしないって約束してくれ。ああ、約束する。助けてくれ。ほら。その場しのぎの嘘だったら、こいつらが更生するまで君が面倒を見るのか。監視し続けられると。それはできないよ。でも人が生きるには信じるしかないんだ。それができなくちゃ何も始まらないだろう。
If we can't do that, we'll never get anywhere. So hey, again, love his ideas or hate his ideas. Kirk's entire stake was open debates, was civil disagreement, was open conversation. You can still have sympathy about the way he died or even his death. And it's not that we can. We should. The arguments from both parties, left or right, are incendiary depending on who is looking at it. So the reaction from anybody from either party ought to be a collective somebody's. I would prefer to have talking points.
100%, bro. 100%. And this is why I don't feel bad. You know where my empathy went yesterday? To the kids in Colorado that experienced a school shooting. Like, why are we acting like Charlie was a good dude? He was a piece of shit, man. Again, I'm not saying he deserved it, but it's so hard to give empathy to a man who built his brand and lived his life being one of the most hateful individuals I've ever seen.
お前の判断は正しい。回避は間に合わん。爆発を起こす前にエネルギーの発生源である私の命を絶つしか。何をしている？結局お前は私を倒すことも仲間を助けることも自らを守ることもできないのだな。
僕の人生の主役は僕だから。だから自分で選んでここに来た。いくら嫌いな相手でもたった一人で苦しんでいるなんてやっぱりかわいそうだし、だから助ける。
But You know, just because he wasn't harming people with what he was saying, with what he was doing, doesn't mean that it doesn't have harmful and dangerous effects. Because, dude, listen, when your brand and what you live for is spewing the most hatred, misogynistic, homophobic, racist, you know, all that rhetoric, that's so incredibly dangerous because he's doing it to a very large, impressionable audience, you know, most of which being young men. And then they carry that into society. Dude, that's so dangerous. I mean, he didn't give a fuck about Gaza. He didn't give a fuck about people being wrongfully discriminated and deported. He didn't give a fuck about school shootings. I mean, shit. He said that the children dying in school shootings is necessary to uphold the Second Amendment. Dude, tell that to the fucking parents of those children, Charlie. Say that to their face.
No one likes what's happening in Gaza. No one with a heart or a soul or a mind likes when kids die. But you must understand who started the conflict so that you could end it correctly. And until Hamas brokers an unconditional surrender, of which they are unwilling to do, they could release the hostages and drop their weapons and their lives would be spared. Instead, they are using children of Gaza as cannon fodder, financed by the Iranian mullahs and dragging the entire world into this conflict.
The Israeli government, plenty of suspicious things going on. How do we know the Bible is true? Every day, there are archaeological discoveries that confirm the truths of the Bible in 1 Samuel, in 1 Kings, in 1 Chronicles. There is a diabolical satanic agenda every single day to try and delegitimize the scriptures. And I will defend the Holy Land, the place that let me see where my Lord and Savior lived, and I will not apologize for that. Thank you very much.
Selective outrage is real, and you and I and all of us participate in it. Did you post about the genocide that's currently happening in the Congo? Did you post about when Azerbaijan and Armenia were going at it? Did you post about the women in Iran and the little boys in Afghanistan? What about the famine in Yemen right now? But to sit up on your high horse and demand that people care about the issues that you want them to care about while also dismissing that a man just got violently murdered in public is disgusting and vile and hypocritical. And by the way, Charlie Kirk's assassination happened at a school. It is a school shooting. And we can be equally disgusted by all of what's happening in the world. But to play this game about what about Islam, I can keep going, mi amor. And you and I are both going to lose.
I was so wrong about Charlie Kirk that I'm embarrassed and ashamed now. It's not, oh, we need to be decent, even to people like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a decent person. People attribute 3 main positions to him that justify shooting him in the neck for, and they are really taken out of context. And the context does not make it perfect, but let me tell you what the context is, and you decide if it's still worth shooting him in the neck over it. The 3 positions are his quote about empathy, him saying the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, and then him saying a certain amount of unaliving is worth it to keep amendment numero dos. He said empathy is a new age term, and it's done a lot of damage. I prefer the term sympathy. That is the cadence of the original quote. It's actually really, really dishonest to cut it off where people have been cutting. But the civil rights one was crazy when I heard that. And the implication is obviously that he doesn't think black people deserve rights. Would I want to pew someone in the neck over that? Here are some more of his words. He explicitly said the intention of the Civil Rights Act was good. His position was that other initiatives like DEI were attached to the Civil Rights Act, which was written too open-ended, and so the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. This is wrong for a lot of reasons. I'll just go with a simple one. At the time that the Civil Rights Act was passed, you couldn't pass a law saying, hey, just don't be racist, and then everything would work out fine. You had to put a lot of protections in. So this is clickbait, this is insincere, it's a trashy way to get more views. But it is not the same thing as saying black people don't deserve rights. I'm generally pro-DEI. I don't think you should be shot in the neck for being against DEI. And finally, he said a certain amount of unaliving is worth it to keep amendment numero.
Watch until the end, learn the full context of what was really said and why it was said. I promise it's a different thing from what you're saying online. We just cannot, as a society, encourage stoic reactions or indifference to a very gruesome and violent death. And I absolutely love this commentary you can pause to read. And I just want you to know that my goal here is to show the full perspective so you have the full information, and not necessarily because I want you to take sides. The message I'm trying to pass that is important is empathy.
This is why Tanjiro is one of my favorite anime protagonists. Tanjiro can actually empathize with anyone, even the demons that he's tasked to kill as a member of the Demon Slayer Corps. With every demon he slays, Tanjiro aims to end the suffering of humans, but also to end the suffering of demons as well, who often get the opportunity to reconnect with their humanity because of Tanjiro's compassion seconds before death.
It's over, you lost! Now it's time to die! No, Sensei, stop! I can sense good in him! Do you know what he did? He slaughtered all of our children! He deserves another chance!
And yes, as a person with deep appreciation for anime, I've got to say there's a lot about morality and humanity that anyone could learn from anime. And as a Christian, I'm going to leave you with this.
Can you please explain to everyone out here what Jesus stood for, and especially the qualities of love, how to love your neighbor even if they don't agree with you?
So John 8.
John 8. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. When the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more."
If you would go up to somebody and say, "Stop sinning," you're being too judgmental. No, you're actually being Christ-like. So Jesus stood. He was 100% grace and truth. And that tension is very hard in a modern world because we want to overemphasize grace when in reality Christ loves us too much to have us continue to live in sin. He wants us to try to elevate our actions to glorify God in all that we do.
How's it going, Charlie? I'm Austin. I just had a question related to Second Amendment rights. We saw the shooting that happened recently, and a lot of people are upset. But I'm seeing people argue for the other side that they want to take our Second Amendment rights away. How do we convince them that it's important to have the right to defend ourselves and all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. So I'm a big Second Amendment fan, but I think most politicians are cowards when it comes to defending why we have a Second Amendment. This is why I would not be a good politician, or maybe I would, I don't know, but because I actually speak my mind. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. I love hunting. The Second Amendment is not even about personal defense. That is important. The Second Amendment is there, God forbid, so that you can defend yourself against a tyrannical government.
Come on.
And if that talk scares you, wow, that's radical, Charlie. I don't know about that. Well, then you have not really read any of the literature of our founding fathers. Yep. Number two, you've not read any 20th century history. You're just living in Narnia. By the way, if you were actually living in Narnia, you would be wiser than wherever you're living because C.S. Lewis was really smart. So I don't know what alternative universe you're living in. Yep. You just don't want to face reality that governments tend to get tyrannical. And that if people need an ability to protect themselves and their communities and their families. Now, we must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price. Wow. And that is part of liberty. Wow. Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. Wow. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, yes, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, "Oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings?" I don't know. How did we stop shootings at baseball games? Because we have armed guards outside of baseball games. That's why. How did we stop all the shootings at airports? We have armed guards outside of airports. How do we stop all the shootings at banks? We have armed guards outside of banks. How do we stop all the shootings at gun shows? Notice there's not a lot of mass shootings at gun shows. There's all these guns because everyone's armed. If our money and our sporting events and our airplanes
have armed guards. Why don't our children?